public scam.
A psychologist, medical doctor, and the founder of psychoanalysis. He is considered one of the most influential and authoritative thinkers of the 20th century. He is Sigmund Freud. He elaborated on the theories of the mind as a complex energy system. He refined the ideas of the unconscious, held strong beliefs on sexuality and repression, all contributing to the understanding of human psychological development and to the treatment of mental conditions. Sigmund Freud was born on May 6, 1856 in Freiburg, Germany. He was the first child of his twice-widowed father's third marriage. His mother, Amelia Wathenson, was 19 when she was married to his father, Jacob Freud. Sigmund's two stepbrothers from his first marriage were around his mother's age. Sigmund was also joined by 7 siblings, yet he remained his mother's favorite. When he was 4, the whole family moved to Vienna.
My father often talked about his childhood and described what it was like growing up in an extremely Jewish neighborhood. His family took pride in their religion, although as he grew older, his practice of Judaism became less serious. However, his cultural background and traditions were always an influence on him and his thinking. My dad went to a local elementary school and high school. He was always a superior student. At the age of 17, he went to the University of Vienna. My father was in the middle of pursuing his laboratory work when he fell in love with my mother, Martha Burhase. They were engaged for 2 years and married in 1887. I was the last of 6 kids. My father was always focused, always thinking, working, studying. And every Wednesday, he would hold a meeting in our home with his colleagues. The man just never stopped working.
For many years, Mr. Sigmund Freud worked as my assistant. Together, we developed our ideas on hysteria and eventually created a book showcasing these ideas. The book was called Studies on Hysteria. We contributed hysteria to trauma experienced in early life. And these patients may or may have not been conscious of such a hysteria or trauma. After negative response to our claims, Sigmund and I parted professional ways.
If I had to pick out my dad's greatest contribution towards psychology, it would probably be the psychoanalytic movement which he started. In his book, The Interpretation of Dreams, was a big tribute towards this movement. It was published in November of 1899 and was not just a book on theories about dreams. He used dreams and dreaming to develop and weave an entire theory of mental functioning, perception, memory, and wishes, which is why I believe this is the reason and foundation for why it's viewed as a landmark. In the dream book, the Oedipus complex is stated, which is the role of infantile sexuality. Dreams also having meaning is recognized as well. But most importantly, the recognition that much of our life is determined by unconscious forces that we don't know about.
Sigmund continued to develop and refine his theories on the unconscious. He coined the term psychoanalysis, which was the belief that the unconscious mind had a major influence on human behavior. He also firmly believed in the concept that the human mind was composed of 3 components: the id, ego, and superego.
Freud told me that when you are awake, the impulses and desires of the id are suppressed by the superego. Through your dreams, you are able to get the glimpse into your unconscious, or the id. Because your guards are down during the dream state, your unconscious has the opportunity to act out and express the hidden desires for the id. However, the desires of the id can at times be so disturbing and even psychologically harmful that the censor comes into play and translates the id's disturbing content into a more acceptable form. This helps preserve sleep and prevent you from waking up at shocked images. As a result, confusing dreams images occur.
To explain more in depth, the id is driven by the pleasure principle, which strives for immediate gratification of all desires, wants, and needs. If these needs are not satisfied immediately, the result is a state of anxiety or tension. The ego is a component of personality. It is responsible for dealing with reality. According to Freud, the ego develops from the id and ensures that impulses of the id can be expressed in a manner acceptable in the real world. The superego. This is the last component to develop a personality to develop. The superego is the aspect of personality that holds all of our moral standards. It holds our ideals. We require these ideals from our parents and society. Our sense of right and wrong. The superego provides guidelines for making judgments. These were Freud's beliefs.
Freud also explained things based on my environment control my impulses and mine, and you can't hold certain things back. He told me his theories about the Freudian slip, which is when a misstatement happens. It really believes unconscious thoughts or feelings. He said that nothing you do occurs by chance, meaning everything happens for a reason.
And we've had triumphs, we've made some mistakes, we've had some setbacks.
My dad sadly died on September 23rd, 1939 in London, England, from mouth cancer. By the time of his death, my dad's ideas had become part of the fabric of the 20th century life. All the key concepts of human psychology had been with us since the ancient world. But nobody before my father took the kind of wisdom, systemized it, and offered the knowledge of it to the world. It took many long years of false starts and erratic detours. He had looked into the darkness of his own heart, and in turmoil and confusion, rallied himself the only way he knew how. He trusted to his own unconscious.
Now, this is a story all about how Freud turned psychology upside down. Now, if you listen to us, then you will see how Sigmund Freud is the father of therapy. In Freiburg, Germany, born and raised, the library is where he spent most of his days. Chilling out, reading those books, what a bore. Then he moved to Vienna at the age of 4. He was first for his mother and then 2 stepbrothers. Started chilling in the Jewish neighborhood. Influenced by the culture, his thoughts were so good. Then he went to the University of Vienna because he could.
Got a doctorate degree at 24, then studied in his lab because he still craved more. He was engaged to Martha. He wanted to marry. It's hard for a young scientist to support a family. Still got married, yo. It was great. Had 6 kids who we appreciate. Is this what the life of a scientist is like? This might be alright.
Worked at a hospital as a physician, published lots of books because it was his ambition. I don't think that you're ready for this, for Sigmund Freud was the father of psychoanalysis. Well, he believes everything happens for a reason. Impulses are released, that's what he believes in. We can't hold back urges as they come out some way. Some appear in our dreams every day.
Divided the aspects of the mind in 3 parts. Ego and superego. Now, ain't that smart? Sigmund Freud was an interesting guy. Cancer of the mouth was how he died. He left this world with all of his pride and changed psychology worldwide. Yo, yo. And it's about